Hey guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. I am Carmen, and today we are going to be watching season 3, episode 6 of Fringe from, as you can see, a slightly different location. Well, it's the same location. There's just a couch here now. Anyway, I hope you guys like the new setup, the very slightly new setup, slightly new camera angle. Let me know if you prefer the old camera angle or anything like that. I'm gonna keep the couch because I like it. But yeah, anyway, last time on Fringe, we were in the World B with our Olivia, and she was, you know, still trying to come to terms with the fact that she is our Olivia and might have a place in this world. She traveled over to our world. She called Ella. You know, she's dealing with chaotic figment Peter and all of that fun stuff. Like, I think that after what happened at the end of episode 4, I might prefer World B for now, but I don't know that I'm ready to come back to our world, which I, again, assume that this episode will be because of the switch off that it's been so far. I'm nervous to deal with the repercussions of what happened. I don't know that they'll necessarily start quite yet, but they could, and emotionally, it's going to be hard for me to deal with the fallout of this and the, you know, Peter's trauma and everything that's going to come along with it. I'm very interested to see how Fringe will deal with it, because it is such a very serious topic and a very just serious thing that has happened to Peter. So anyway, without too much further rambling by me, let's just get into this episode and see what happens. Radio man, any word? It's starting. What's going on?
When I crack this thing, they are gonna write books about me.
What are they trying to crack? Okay, so Maine, New York, New Hampshire.
Hey, Beck.
Oh, the baby.
You want a tea?
The little fat baby cheeks.
It's starting. Okay. I'll leave you alone.
What is that? They're trying to break some kind of code to win something, to accomplish something. Are they dying? Okay, he's not dead. That ship's gonna crash.
Yeah, you got my ID.
Are they like not themselves anymore? Like,
Becky.
Stay away from me.
Whoa.
I said stay back! Who are you?
so they forgot themselves?
Who am I?
I'm curious as to what they were trying to do, because that could unlock like what the hell just happened. Because like that little girl, it sounded like a little girl, I don't know, maybe an adult woman. Somebody said numbers, right, in different languages, and then that happened. So weird.
I came in this morning and found your little project.
That's correct. I'm running diagnostics.
I thought I made my position clear, and you might as well be building a nuclear bomb in my...
I don't think that's entirely fair to you.
Well, fine.
Yes.
If you end up breaking the universe, this time it's on your head.
I think it's fair.
15 people all up and down the eastern seaboard all suffered from retrograde amnesia at the same time.
Okay. 15 people.
They can't even tell me if she's gonna get her memory back.
I mean,
Did your
it's...
wife ever tell you what it was she was listening to?
Becky
Yeah.
was a moderator in a chat room. They listen to number stations.
For what purpose?
Number stations?
I don't know much about them. Kind of a mystery.
Okay, number stations.
He said that she spends her nights listening to numbers on random ham radio stations. She's trying to crack some code.
Yes, what code?
You heard of him?
Number stations. Nobody knows what they are or even where they come from.
Okay.
They're artificially generated voices reading streams of random numbers in a wide variety of languages.
For
Other
what
than the fact
purpose?
that they were first discovered more than 70 years ago.
Damn.
Some people think they may be covert communications between spies or drug traffickers. The problem is no one has been able to find proof to support any theory at all, so at the moment they remain unexplained.
Okay.
Perhaps Peter would like to play last night's tape aloud to everyone, given his recent fondness for dangerous activity.
Walter's so upset. Lots of tension.
You know, we found a piece of the machine that Walternet is building, and Peter's trying to figure it out.
He should.
Walter doesn't agree. He won't help. He keeps setting up roadblocks for Peter. You know, you two go back a long way. Maybe you could talk to him.
But you're not having any luck?
Oh, I haven't tried.
Yeah, that's
But
weird.
that's not like you. You're usually more direct with Walter.
Yep.
I'll speak with Walter.
Nina's noticing something.
As far as we can tell, the break-in happened around 10:30. Security system was state-of-the-art. Whoever did this was a pro.
So this is where they broadcast the numbers from, probably, right? Oh. There was some reason that these people thought that they were gonna... Oh, maybe just because the numbers are such a mystery. They thought, that guy thought that he was gonna get a paper written about him if he figured it out, right? Okay, that is definitely some friendship. That is definitely friendship.
It's not floating exactly. Apparently it's got some sort of magnetics inside.
Yeah.
Do you think that this was the source of last night's number broadcast?
This is definitely
Yeah.
wired to output a transmission. Hold on.
What?
I want to see that panel. I need the print powder.
Oh, okay.
It's impossible to do microelectronics with gloves on. Let's get this to Dr. Bishop.
Did she do it? Or does she know who did? But she couldn't if she was, you know, committing other heinous acts.
We're analyzing the fingerprints they found up at the radio tower, and they think they found the device used to upload last night's broadcast.
Oh, it's Harvard. Gene! Sorry.
This is the sound of the transmission, modified so it's safe, of course. You modulate
So there are two signals.
precisely
Okay.
the bottom wave, which I
The sound.
pulse, and I believe that this is responsible for the amnesia. Someone found a way to attach this pulse to the numbers broadcast.
Okay, but who would do this, and why give these people amnesia?
Because they cracked the code.
Oh.
You sounded very Sherlock Holmes just then. Which makes you Watson, dear.
Does it?
Is this the soundboard I was using to run diagnostics on the weapon?
I was using it to down-convert the signal.
Really?
I was focused on solving the case at hand, not concerned with preserving your wretched experiment.
This has got to stop.
I mean, you have to look at it from his perspective. Are they going to have a conversation? That would be great.
Walter,
I asked you not to work on that device in my lab.
they're working on it on the other side. We need to understand exactly what it does.
It's to understand. You're playing with fire. Stop being so bull-headed and put a stop to this.
He's concerned about you, Peter. He just wants you to be safe.
When I touched that device on the other side, it came alive in my hands.
Yeah.
Like it responded directly to me.
Okay.
How can you expect me to ignore that?
I just talked to Olivia.
Do you mind if we poke around a little bit? There's some things here that could be useful to us.
I wonder if they could, like, de-amnesia them with a different pulse, you know? I don't know if that's possible, but, I mean, I don't...
Earlier, I told you the names of 3 things.
Cat, horse, cotton candy.
Very good.
So it's not currently affecting her memory. It's just affecting prior to the broadcast, right?
Suppose I was knitting it for the baby. I don't recognize him. I don't recognize that man who was out there.
Sad.
This is a list of everybody that Becky talked to about the number stations. You recognize anyone?
Ed Markham.
Bookstore owner. Purveyor of rare manuscripts. Your favorite ladies' man.
Oh, right. How could I forget?
Let me give him a call. See if maybe he has some idea about this.
You know what? This is good because I was waiting for the information that he had, the guy who gave her the information, to not be enough. You know what I mean? To, like, falter. What are the... Okay, so why does whoever this guy is and whoever, either who he's working for or what he wants, why do they care about them figuring out the number stations? Like, what is that going to affect? Maybe the number stations are, like, code for people who are trying to do things and they don't want them to know about it. You know, it's like, this is your... marching orders sort of thing, maybe. I don't know.
All the people who listened to the last 2 number broadcasts have had their memories wiped.
Are you serious?
Whatever they knew and whatever they figured out about the numbers, somebody made sure that they forgot it. Mm-hmm. So whatever you know about what they mean would really help us.
I'll help you, but you have to promise me I'll be safe.
Sure, done. Just tell us what you know about the stations.
First of all,
so many books.
they're as old as dirt. They say when Marconi invented the radio, the first thing he heard was the numbers. Like they were floating around in space, just waiting for someone to listen.
You're trying to tell me that Marconi picked up a transmission before humans invented the technology to send one?
Creepy, right?
I would believe it on this show.
You're holding one of the last copies.
And this will tell us what the numbers mean.
No, but it'll tell you where they came from. Or one theory, at least.
By first people, what are we talking about? Adam and Eve?
No, before dinosaurs. Before all of it, there were the first people. The first humans to evolve on this planet.
If you don't know anything, you can just say that.
I'm serious. Look, just read the book. It's all in there.
How much do you want for it?
I don't want your money. I want protection. What if someone comes to erase my memories?
I should be so lucky.
There were no people before dinosaurs.
I remember my time here quite differently.
We did have fun, didn't we? Don't know what happened to this generation. When did they become so afraid? We had the courage to think against the grain of what we were told. We let our curiosity be our guide.
So why stop Peter from following his?
She got you there, Walter.
He's bent on pursuing something despite the grave risks it poses to his well-being.
You can't create a vaccine without working with the virus.
No, but I have experienced what this kind of hubris can do.
Well, and yet you didn't heed anyone's warnings. I begged you to stop. Peter wouldn't be here now if you hadn't.
If he continues to investigate...
Yes, well, he will continue to investigate, whether you like it or not.
Then he will play right into Waltonet's hands. Only one world can survive. Then it stands to reason that Waltonet will use Peter to ensure that it's his world that does.
Yes, he's right.
He's already built as much of the machine as he can. He gave the blueprints to Peter and asked him to complete it.
Yes.
I remember, Walter. But who says this is the only outcome? It's a drawing, not destiny. And given the stakes, won't Peter need your guidance more than ever? One of the things I have most admired about you is your optimism. No, but become a fatalist now?
I mean, the thing is, though, that, like, maybe if they know, maybe since he knows what Walternate is thinking, then he can subvert it.
They were apparently very technologically advanced. They discovered the vacuum.
The vacuum cleaner?
Vacuum as in the source of all creation and destruction. The numbers on the first broadcast.
Why?
Well, if you're to believe the book, the first people measured time in months ahead.
She knows something about this.
What were the numbers?
12, 34, 17,
8,
42, 40. Yeah.
She wouldn't have remembered all of it because she doesn't have photographic memory like our Olivia.
Somehow these number stations are connected to the first people.
What the hell does that mean?
She knows something about it because she's acting suspicious as fuck.
An ancient people who evolved before the dinosaurs just vanished without a trace? It's absurd.
Why should we be so arrogant as to assume that we're the first Homo sapiens to walk the earth?
Are the first people supposed to be World B people?
A mechanism known to them as the vacuum, containing at once both the power to create and to destroy.
The machine? Walternate's machine?
This transistor is newer than the rest of them. Somebody must have replaced it. It's Polish, and it's military grade. There's only a couple places that are licensed to sell parts like that, and they're all regulated, which means that you have to give a verified address to buy one.
You tell Peter I'll be back. I'm gonna let Brawls know where we're at.
What is her involvement in this, is my question.
I mean, for one thing, look at their concept of time. 9 days in a month. If you're not going to eat those chips, may I?
Wait. She figured something out. She figured something out. Astrid is so smart. I love her. I love you.
This calendar, how many days are in each month?
Why?
Humor me.
Yeah. Let her genius brain do its thing.
Then 17, 9, 15. What are you thinking, Watson?
That maybe what we're missing is a cipher matrix. Our decoder ring.
Go, Astrid, go. Go, Astrid, go. Go, Astrid, go. I love Astrid so much. She's so smart.
Now, you replaced a transistor in one of the boxes? Polish. They found it. They're tracking the sale as we speak.
Who are these people?
Like you're sloppy.
They're smart.
I'm supposed to upload another pulse tomorrow.
I think you've done enough. We've got their attention. There's no need to hurt any more innocent people.
They want them to figure out the code?
Joseph Miller, 989 Nelson Street, Bedford. We're en route with backup.
Okay, I'm on my way.
You have any information on my next mission?
Yeah, I do.
She's gonna catch him.
Olivia's already here.
She called him.
Olivia. Oh, thank God you're all right. What happened?
Peter. You need to be sus, Peter. You need to be sus. She figured something out. It's about the sun, the rotation of the earth. I'm not as smart as I should. Okay, I'm trying.
Well, it makes sense now why Walter couldn't figure out the tech that emitted the amnesia pulse. It must have come from the other side.
Would suggest Walter that knows what the numbers mean.
Yep. It's gone.
Data storage unit. Guess
Oh.
we're not going to get anything out of that. It's toast.
That's why she did it out the window.
It's a coordinate system. All of these numbers indicate specific locations on a globe. Ethiopia, Spain, China.
So what's there? At the end of the points?
So far as I can tell, nothing special. A farmhouse, a public swimming pool, random stuff like that.
We're not looking for a man-made structure. If this message is millions of years old, then we're likely talking about something buried beneath the earth.
Yeah.
And what's the closest one?
like, I just worry that this is what they wanted, right? Because that's what the guy said, like, or that's what Olivia said when she was talking to that guy. I worry they're playing into their hands.
If you knew that only one of our worlds could survive, and if it was up to you and you alone to defend your side, you'd have no choice, right? You would have to do what you had to do.
She wants absolution?
To protect our world.
I mean, there's lines you can't cross. Obviously.
Billions of innocent people over there. Just like you. People with jobs, families, lives.
Look at that morality.
I gotta believe there's another way. Whatever my part in all of this is, I gotta believe there's another way.
Of course you do, because you're a good person who I love. They better not end this episode before showing me what it is. What is it? What are you realizing, Astrid? What? Don't tell her.
Just identified the last coordinates. Milton, Massachusetts. The house where the first piece of Walternet's machine was buried. Do you think it's possible that these locations are all part of the machine? That Walternet's device is the vacuum described in the first People book?
Yes.
There are 37 more locations.
Which is exactly
It
what...
seems we have work to do.
No, this is what they...
Assemble it and figure out how it works.
This is what they want. 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 This is what that fucking bitch wants. I'm sorry. I know some people like her, but...
The secretaries decided to postpone today's procedure.
So when do you want me to come in?
It may not be necessary. We'll let you know.
Okay.
They're sus because of last time, right?
You have to get out of here. You know why they canceled the last test.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Whatever they needed from you, they have it now. It's not safe for you here anymore.
Yes, girl.
You have to go home.
Yes, please, 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 please. I can't deal with Olivia anymore. Like, I'm fucking done. Like, okay, so I feel like there's a lot to talk about in this episode, so I'm just trying to figure out where I want to start. Because there's so much. It's a bit confusing because I was thinking, well, in the episode I said, you know, like, what if the people from World B originated in World A and they somehow got transported to World B or went to World B and then later humanity existed in World A. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. That's a theory. I don't know that that's my theory, but it's just what I thought of off the top of my head in the episode. I don't know that it's possible, but considering this is Fringe, let's just keep that as like a theory, you know, in our minds. Like it's there. We're not sure if that's what we're going with, but it's possible. I think another I think another possibility is that Walternet, although, I mean, look, how old is Walter supposed to be? Peter's like 30, around that area, right? Like, let's see. Based off of how old Peter is, I would say Walter's like in his 50s, I assume. So the fact that the code started 70 years ago, or 70 years is like the first numbers, right? That couldn't have been Walter or Walternet, right? Because they didn't, I'm trying to remember. I don't think that we've established time travel in this, right? Like, I don't think that they've actually figured it out. So, or else Walter probably would have just gone back in time and saved Peter. I remember them talking about time travel, but I don't think that they did it. 70 years ago is just too long for it to have been Walter or Walternet. And it's much longer than when Walter came over and the first like cracks, right, started to appear in the universes, that's only been like 20 something years, right? So who created the number game and like for what purpose? Because this predates Walternet traveling across the other side, getting Peter, all of that. The number game 70 years ago, that predates that. How long have these things been buried? And to what purpose and to what end? Like, Walternet didn't create this machine. Am I just really confused about what's happening? Because I feel like the numbers for sure predate everything. I would be interested to know when that bookshop owner first got that first People's Book. I would be interested to know, like, the date of publication on that. I'm just wondering. And I know that Walter, by going through, started a chain of events that has culminated in, they believe, the destruction of one world or the other, right? But ZFT and Walter and Belle's idea of that predates Walter and Belle traveling to the other side, right? Because Olivia is like the same age as Peter, right? And that happened to her in, like, I want to say 83. Was it 83? She was 3. All I know is Belle and Walter's Cortexiphan trials predated Peter's death and Walter traveling to the other world and getting our Peter, right? They predated that. So ZFT, I believe, like the manifesto, predated that. So for some reason, Walter and Belle became convinced that only one world would survive and something was happening prior to Walter going over and traveling to World B and causing the chain of events of like their world deteriorating, right? I feel like I need to rewatch Fringe already because I'm getting confused. Like, maybe you guys can help me out in the comments. Maybe I'm supposed to be as confused as I am is what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm not, but I know that like ZFT and the Cortexiphan trials and all that predated Walter going to World B, right? Although it didn't predate them discovering. Okay, when I say Walter going to World B, I'm talking about when he went and got Peter, right? We know that they like sent the car and all that stuff. That was before, right? I think that was before Peter was even born. I need to keep a clearer timeline, I think. But anyway, all of that is beside the point. My point is, 70 years, these number broadcasts have been happening. Obviously, the pulse, the amnesia, was just to get Walter and Peter's attention to investigate it so that they could figure out what the numbers were and then find the pieces of Walternet's machine, right? Like, all of that aspect of it was premeditated by Falivia and Walternet and them. So all of that was just part of the plan. But the number broadcasts themselves, like, I'm just curious as to why they had been going on for so long. Because it makes sense if they wanted to like cover their tracks, they would start it at an earlier point than immediately, right? Because then it wouldn't look like we're trying to get you to do this thing. But 70 years is longer than any of them have been alive, I think. So I'm a little confused about that aspect of it. Anyway, we never really got a resolution to the amnesia aspect of this episode. I was kind of hoping that Walter would be able to put together a pulse that would restore people's memories. It's kind of sad because we have that lady who, I mean, all the people who got amnesia, obviously, that's really sad. But in particular, we spent more time with the woman who by amnesia that had the baby and the husband. And I don't know, it's sad we didn't get any sort of resolution to that. We didn't get even them trying to figure out a resolution to that. Obviously, I'm not saying that Walter would be able to create a pulse that could do away with amnesia. Like, that would be a very lofty, ambitious attempt for him to even try to do. But I kind of wish that we had gotten even him trying to figure it out to help out this woman, you know, because if some sort of pulse of radio wave energy, I'm not a scientist, but if the other side can develop a pulse that can do that to people, it only stands to reason that we could then create a pulse that would undo that, right? So I kind of wish that there had been any aspect of the episode focused on trying to figure that aspect out as well. Like, obviously you can only fit so much into a 43-ish minute episode, so I understand that might have just gotten left by the wayside, but I kind of wish that they had spent any amount of time at all really trying to do that. Although, if instead of doing that, we traded it for getting more of Astrid in this episode, and Astrid being badass and smart and figuring shit out. And like, people have spent 70 years trying to figure this out. And Astrid was like, give me a few days. You know, I mean, I know she had a lot more information at her disposal than they did. But like, I just love Astrid being smart and being amazing. I just like to see Astrid, right? And I love that we were back at Harvard. Sorry, I know I'm doing that thing where I like jump on like a bunch of different trains of thought, but I love that we were back at Harvard and that we kind of got away from the cold sterility of Massive Dynamic for a bit, and we got a little bit of the like fun, just homey calmness of not calm, but like the homey, chaotic, messy Jean aspect of Harvard. I was hoping that we wouldn't completely abandon it, so I'm glad that we didn't. At least now, like, if Walter like starts to slowly transition to being in Massive Dynamic, I hope that they will like home it up a bit, you know, make it a bit more cozy and homey and bring Jean and all of that stuff. But I'm also okay with us staying at Harvard because I like it and it makes me happy, and it's nice to have this tie back to the first two seasons, because we're so far removed, it seems, from the first 2 seasons right now because of, you know, Olivia being in the other world and Olivia being here and all of that stuff, you know. I like that we got to see a bit of Nina and Walter's relationship in this episode. I liked that we saw their closeness and their friendship, and sort of we got to see that they've known each other for a long time, that they went to college together, it seems, that they, you know, that have that familiarity that we haven't really seen them have, or we haven't really gotten a chance to see them interact in this way before. And I really like it. Like, we've gotten hints and bits of it. Like, we've gotten definitely hints that Nina and Belle had something going on. We've gotten hints that like Walter and Nina at some point had something going on. We got, maybe it was just friendship and I read too much into it, but we've gotten like hints of a shared history and a past, that they've known each other for a long time, that they've been through stuff together. But I definitely felt it more in this episode, just them on that bench having such a warm and open conversation with each other. I wish that we had gotten more of that sooner, because I think that I wouldn't have been as suspicious of Nina, and I wouldn't have felt so unsure of her motivations and intentions had they had they given us them being this way with each other sooner. You know what I mean? like a lot of their former interactions were quite contentious and a bit like combative. And so to see them having this sort of interaction, I don't know, it felt really nice. Something else I liked in this episode, because I felt like it should have been addressed, and I guess we're only 6 episodes in, so it's not that far into the season, but was seeing the information that Newton's character had gotten from Van Horn, like seeing that information falter, and to see Olivia not know who the bookshop guy was, whose name I forget and I probably should have written down, but seeing her not recognize his name, seeing her interactions with Nina, where Nina is sort of questioning her because she's not acting like she usually would with Walter, and seeing her and her trying to copy Olivia's photographic memory and sort of faltering in that respect. Like, those moments I thought were good because they're cracks, right? Like, it didn't make sense to me that Van Horn's information, and I can't remember if I said this in the first episode or the first couple episodes or not, but it doesn't make sense that Van Horn's information would include like personal moments that Walter and Peter had, or Peter and Olivia had, right? Like, and Olivia and Walter. Sorry, I got that all messed up when I was trying to talk about it. But it doesn't make sense that he would know like these small moments that aren't in the official reports, right? So I was really questioning, like, how is she mimicking these small interactions, these tiny moments? Because none of that is going to be in a report. You know what I mean? Like, even surveillance can only get you so far, unless they had every single phone line bugged, and they had the houses bugged, and they had cars and phones and like every aspect of their life. Unless they had that surveilled and bugged, there's no way that they would know every single aspect of the intimacies of their relationships, you know? And so I like to see the breakdown of those moments of, obviously you can't have a photographic memory if you don't have one. You know, you can try to memorize things and fake it for as long as you can, but there's only so long that you can do that. And then obviously there's only so much information that you can have when you're trying to pretend to be somebody else. Like, there's moments that are gonna fall by the wayside and that you're going to not grasp the full importance of, right? And so it's good to see those cracks in the chassis, right? Those moments of vulnerability, of faltering, of not knowing things, because it only makes sense that she wouldn't know all of the intricate details enough to not have moments of faltering, right? Also, and I don't know how you guys feel about Olivia. I know that a few people I've spoken to have some level of sympathy for her, you know. And of course, you guys have seen a lot more than I have, so I can only go on what I've seen so far. But I will tell you guys that, and I think I said this last time, or a couple episodes ago, it is going to be very, very difficult for me. It's going to be really hard for me to accept her sort of, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It's going to be hard for me to move on from what she did, right? I think that as much as she can sort of drape herself in the flag of I was doing this for my world, and it's not that I don't think that she was. I genuinely think that she thinks that, you know, she's doing this because she has to save her world, right? I'm not saying that I don't believe her motivations for why she did what she did. I don't think that that's an excuse, personally. Like, I don't think that there was any reason that she had to take it as far as sexually assaulting Peter in order to save her world. Like, I understand that she wanted him to trust her completely. I understand that she thinks that this is a way to get him to trust her completely. I'm not understanding that aspect of it. I don't think that it was necessary. And I worry about a character that thinks that that's an excusable action to take regardless of the reason that you think that you're taking it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very personal and violating and horrific choice that you have made to do to Peter. That's a very horrific thing that you've chosen to do that I don't think was necessary to do. I don't think it's excusable. And I understand that other people might feel differently than me. That's the way I feel, and I can understand that everyone might not take that stance, but that is the stance that I'm taking. And I'm not saying that she's a purely evil character or that she has no redeemable qualities whatsoever. Like I said, like I for me, there's lines that you can't cross and expect me to still be as sympathetic as I would be for a character, and that's a line for me, right? That's a point of no return for me personally. And I understand that might not be the same for everybody. In that moment at the end, right, to take it back to this episode, where she's talking to Peter and she's basically wanting his absolution without asking for it, because she doesn't, obviously she can't be like, hey, I'm not your Olivia, I did this really fucked up thing. Do you think that you could understand that? She's trying to get his absolution without telling him what she did and without fully explaining it, because she can't, obviously. I'm not going to give her that absolution because I don't think that that's an acceptable thing to do, even to save your world. And I look at it the way Peter does, you know? Peter's saying, I think I have to believe that there's another way, because there's billions of people on each of these worlds who have lives and people who they love and people who they care about. And Peter has to see it like there has to be a way to save both, because I'm not willing to sacrifice billions of lives on either planet, in either world. I guess it's the same planet. Anyway, on either world, in either world, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. He's not willing to sacrifice billions of lives because that's just not who he is. I don't know. I really liked that exchange between them, because I think that it shows who Peter is as a person, and it really shows the depth of his heart and his soul and who he is. And it shows that he's very different from Olivia, and his thoughts and beliefs and the way that he conducts himself is very different, which, I mean, I knew. But yeah, I like to see that, and to see Peter being very morally very moral, I should say, character that he is. And yeah, I don't know. I think that it's a bit fucked up for her to ask for absolution from him in that way, knowing that he doesn't know the full extent of what she's done. And again, I know that I guess she could, if she wanted to, just completely confess everything that she had done and is doing. And I know that we saw a bit of her being slightly morally better in this episode, because she didn't want more innocent people to die. And that's why, I mean, that's partially why she killed the guy that she killed. But she also did it in a way that they couldn't find anything out, you know? I feel very conflicted talking about Olivia, because I feel like there's probably a lot of people who like her character, you know? It's very difficult for me after the end of 304. It's really difficult for me to look past that. And I can't apologize for it because that's my morality, you know, that's my moral code. That's just the way that I believe and the way that I look at the world. And I think that there are certain things that for me are off limits, and that's one of them. And so, yeah, it is hard to watch the episodes with her and to sort of try to be sympathetic towards her because of that. This is the first episode since that episode that we've gotten any amount of Olivia, whatever you guys call her. And so, yeah, I don't know, you guys. That's I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop talking about it now. But that's just, it's hard for me. We'll see how the show addresses it ultimately. But I don't know the extent to which I'm supposed to like her character. So I feel like it's okay for me to like kind of not. Sorry, guys, there's one more thing that I have to say about it. The last thing that I will say regarding Olivia in this episode is in that scene with her asking Peter for absolution. I do feel like she's asking him for absolution in her own way. Again, she's not actually asking for it, but the implication of the scene is that she's sort of asking without asking for him to sort of understand why she had to do what she had to do, is how she kind of puts it. The thing is, I would be so much more understanding of her having to do what she has to do as a character if she did not make the choice to do something that I don't feel she had to do. That was completely a horrific violation of Peter in order to save her world. Like, that was a choice that she made. It was not something she had to do. It was a choice that she made to do that. So I, as the audience, choose not to absolve her of the choice that she made. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just my opinion. And again, I'm going to be done talking about it because, yeah. Something else that I want to talk about in this episode is the whole Walter and Peter sort of struggle, right? So Walter doesn't want Peter to work on it initially because he doesn't want him to play into Walternet's hands, right? And Walter is totally 100% right about all of this at the moment. He's saying, you know, Walternet wanted us to find this. Walternet is trying to get us to put it together. And, you know, everything that Walter was saying in his conversation with Nina Sharp, like, he's fully on the money, right? This is completely orchestrated by Walternet and Olivia and the people in World B to try to get them to put together the device, right? Like, this is a fully orchestrated thing. Like, they are playing them like little puppets on strings and putting them into the places that they want them. Like, Walter is so right about that, and it's so frustrating because nobody knows that he's so right, you know? And then in the end, he decides to help Peter to try to put it together. And I just worry because they are falling into Walternet's plan. Like, this is what he wants. This is fully what he wants and what they want. And I just worry because obviously I don't want Walternet to get what he wants, you know, because I'm very invested in our world and our side. And I don't want either world to get destroyed. I very much feel like Peter because there's so many innocent lives and on both sides. Yeah, I don't know. I worry because I think that that machine is going to destroy the world and like Peter. And so I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating because it's like, I don't want them to be puppets in this game that Walternet and Olivia and them are playing. But I also want them to like figure shit out and get one up on them and save both worlds. Honestly, that would be the ideal goal, would be save both worlds. And yeah, I'm just gonna be Team Peter right now and hope that he figures some shit out. I think the last thing that I want to talk about is the very end of this episode with our Olivia and them telling her that she doesn't have to come in, which I was very stressed about and worried that it was because they figured out that she had lied, but her mind Peter, Figment Peter, whatever you want to call it, is saying that she's in danger and that she basically needs to fucking run for her life. And like, I am very stressed because I love our Olivia, okay? Like, she's the only Olivia in my mind. And like, I just need her to be safe. And I don't know if the next episode is going to take place like prior and show us like what happened leading up to that, or if it's going to go from there. And like, are we getting into like, we're getting close to like mid-season finale areas, and so like we're still a few episodes off of that, but I worry that like cliffhanger things are gonna happen, and I worry about Olivia. Like, I need Olivia to be okay. Like, our Olivia, I love her infinite amounts, and I just need her to be okay. So I need to see what happens in the next episode, like right now. Anyway, I think that's all that I have to say. There's probably a bunch of other stuff that I'm forgetting, but yeah, I forgot it. So if there's anything else I need to talk about, I will try to remember it for next episode. Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. You can also watch the next episode right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can also see my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every episode thus far of Fringe over on Patreon as well. I really need to watch the next episode, so I gotta stop talking. I will see you guys next time for more Fringe. Until then, bye guys.